Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive shift that's happening right now in the world of software development. It's all being powered by the next generation of AI, and we're going to look at how the very act of coding is being completely reimagined. When you first get your hands on a tool like this is what hits you immediately. It's not just that it's faster or more powerful. It's this tangible sense of, wow, there's a real intelligence here that you can actually interact with in a totally new way. So what makes this leap so big? Well, it really comes down to a fundamental shift in both speed and, I guess you'd call it, perceived intelligence. We're moving from just having a tool to having a true partner. And the core difference here, it's really all about speed. Look, GPT-4 was powerful, for sure, but there was always that little bit of lag. It meant it wasn't quite a real-time partner. With the new models, that delay is basically gone. It's fast enough for a genuine back-and-forth conversation, and that changes the entire dynamic. And to really put this power into perspective, just think about this. Getting a new developer up to speed on a giant, complex code base, that can take weeks of painful work. This model can apparently soak up all that context and become a useful expert in just a couple of minutes. That's not just an improvement, that's a total game changer for productivity. It's wild. Okay, so let's get into the specifics here. Beyond just being fast, what are the new superpowers this tech is actually giving to developers, in their day-to-day work? Well, for starters, the entire workflow is being turned on its head. You can literally start with a simple visual idea, like a sketch on a napkin, a wireframe, and the AI can build a fully interactive, working application right from that. The developer's job then shifts, right? It becomes less about typing every single line of code and more about guiding, refining, and steering the AI. And this just gives you a taste of the incredible range of these new abilities. I mean, people are saying it's shockingly good at finding those really nasty, hard-to-find bugs. And here's a huge one. It can apparently correct itself if it starts going down the wrong path, instead of just getting stuck in a rabbit hole. It can build entire features from scratch and handle really complex changes that stretch across tons of different files. And make no mistake, this isn't just for little hobby projects. Think about something like a code migration, updating a massive application to a new programming language or framework. For big companies, that is an incredibly expensive, time-consuming nightmare. The idea that an AI can slash the cost and time for that, well, that is a killer feature for any large business. So you have all these new powers. But what does it actually feel like to be a programmer now? It seems like it's becoming less about the grinding mechanics and way more about pure creativity. And this, it brings up a really fundamental question about the human side of all this. When a machine can do so much of the grunt work, does the job actually become more enjoyable or less? The consensus, at least from what we're hearing early on, seems pretty clear. By getting rid of all the tedious stuff, the boilerplate code, the endless bug hunts, the hours spent just searching for answers online, programming becomes less about the drudgery and more about the fun part. What do I want to create, and how do I bring that idea to life? And a huge reason for this shift is that we're finally chipping away at this thing you might call the human compilation step. You know what I'm talking about. It's that frustrating, tedious process of taking a perfectly clear idea in your head and having to painstakingly translate it into the rigid, unforgiving syntax that a computer demands. I mean, for decades, this has been the deal, right? We've had to bend our way of thinking to fit the machine's rules. We had to learn its languages, its logic, but AI is finally starting to flip that dynamic. The computer is starting to understand us and our intent instead of the other way around. So, where does this all go from here? Well, the vision is way, way bigger than just a smarter autocomplete. We're moving toward a future that looks very different. A really great way to picture it is to think of a real-time strategy game. In this future, the developer isn't just a single worker hammering out code. They're more like a general or a conductor, orchestrating a whole team of AI agents, each one working on a different task at the same time, with a human jumping in to provide that high-level direction. The big ambition here is to expand the AI's ability to think over longer and longer periods. Right now, today, it can solve problems that take a few minutes in a conversation. In the near future, it might be able to tackle entire features or projects over hours. But the ultimate vision, the big goal, is to have AIs that can work on a problem for days or even months to help us solve the kind of grand challenges that are actually worthy of that kind of effort. But after seeing all of this, all these incredible advances and new superpowers, the most stunning figure I came across is this one. People who are deep in this field, they believe we are only here, 0.1% of where this technology is eventually going to take us. That's just a staggering thought. It means we are at the absolute dawn of this new era. Almost all of the transformation, the biggest changes, are still ahead of us. Which leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. For most of history, the power to create complex software, it's been in the hands of a small group of specialists. But as that barrier just dissolves and the power to create becomes available to pretty much everyone, the real question becomes, what will we build? What new ideas and businesses and solutions are we finally going to unlock? What will you choose to build? Thanks for joining this explainer.